Well, welcome to IEPPV's 2026 image competition, first image competition of the year. We have some outstanding judges with us tonight. I'll go ahead and start by introducing the judges, and then I'll introduce Kim. So our first judge tonight will be Jeff Johnson. Jeff, could you please just give us a little description of your professional experience?
Yeah, I'll introduce as fast as I can. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for having me again. It's nice to be back with this group. I've been doing this for just short of 50 years as a professional group in the business. Done all kinds of photography and always thrilled to help out when I can. So thank you for asking me, and hopefully I'll be able to join you again someday.
Thank you, Jeff. And our second judge, Michael Rhino. Michael?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Michael Rhino. Been photographing for about 8, 9 years, I guess now, and start off with landscape, nature, and wildlife. Do some people photography now. Was and past president of Professional Photographers of Colorado, where I was president from 2022 through 2024.
Thank you, Michael. And our third and final judge tonight will be Troy Miller. Troy.
Hi, I'm Troy Miller. I am a full-time portrait wedding photographer going on 37 years now. Wow. I've been part of IEPPV for a long time, PPA master, all the things. So judging is super fun. So if you don't enter, you should enter. And if you enter and you want to judge, you should judge.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you think, but yeah, so glad to be part of the panel.
Thank you, Troy. And tonight's moderator will be Kim Shapiro. She'll be running the image competition. So I'll hand this over to Kim. Thank you, Kim.
Good evening. So today we have 32 images. And just as a reminder for those that know or those that don't know, we have two divisions in IEPPV. The first division that we're going to judge tonight is the Master Division. And the Master's Division is a division for people with master's degrees or craftsman degrees, or people who have attained a level that they want stiffer competition and their scores have been high in regular division and they want to move up so they can voluntarily move up without having a degree and enter our master's division. Then we have our regular division, which is for people who have not had as much experience or have not attained a higher level. And so we have a regular division for people to start out in before having to go up to or wanting to go up to the master division. So we have two separate divisions, and then we have different categories. The categories are the same within each division, but they are judged separately. So we're going to start tonight with our master division. And again, we have 32 images tonight. And in our master division, the first category tonight is going to be the commercial category. In the commercial category today, our first image. Hold on, I got to find it over here. First image is Gabion Ranch Rec Center Pool. Gabion Ranch Rec Center Pool. Score is 84. Michael, can you please comment for us?
Sure, I was in the ballpark there with a score of 83. I really enjoy this image. I like the tone. What got me up over the merit category in that was just the range of colors. I think that sky is beautiful up there. I like the purples into the orange, and then it really works well with the blue in the pool. And I think the lighting is really done well throughout the entire image. A couple things that were holding me back from going a little bit higher. A little bit distracting. There's a bright light that's over on the right edge there. I don't know if that's something that either could be cloned out or maybe just cropped in a little bit to remove that piece of it. But that was it. And there's a little bit of up in the upper right hand corner. I'm thinking that's maybe a little bit of a plain trail or something that was left in there. It's kind of catching my eye in that it's leading me right out of the frame up in that right corner. But overall, great image. Scored it at 83.
Thank you. In just a moment, we are just putting that image up. We had a little issue with our Zoom screen not showing the image. So this is the image. Gabby on
Yeah.
Ranch,
Do
Rec
we have it
Center,
showing
with
now?
a score of 84. Yes, it's showing now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Continuing in the Master Division commercial category, our next image is the dome. The dome. There's 82. Jeff, if you'd comment for us, please.
Sure, I came in at 80. And a lot of times when the first thing we hear is the title, and while yes, there's a dome in here, I kind of was a little misled in my thought about it because I would say the portrait on the wall there is got a lot more importance and impact for the scene. I think the composition is done well, the exposure is done well. It maybe could use a little more contrast, nitpicking, I realize. You've got tough windows there with the white gray sky outside, but I think it works well. Overall, I think it's a very strong image, but that's why I came in at 80.
Thank you. Moving right along, we are now going to the Master Division landscape category. Our first image in the landscape category is High Sierra Autumn. High Sierra Autumn. Score is 80. Troy.
I'm at an 80. This is a beautiful image, beautiful location. Where I really, this is one of those kind of images like I wish this was mine in my portfolio. But where I'm struggling with this is that being in the master division, like I'm being a little bit more nitpicky. So in the sky, we've got this brighter in the center above the mountains, a little darker off to the left. I feel like that vignette is a little bit heavy, but we have some highlight control issues here. So we've got the trees off on the right. In the center, those look slightly overexposed. We've got this rock in the foreground that's kind of cut off. It's a little bright and distracting. I don't feel led through this image with the light control. So I would say, burn down that mountain range in the back a little bit and darken the foreground a little bit less and lead me through this image a little bit more. So basically some highlight control. You've got a wonderful image here. I think it can do really, really well. Just some dodging and burning.
Thank you. Continuing in the Master Division landscape category, we have traffic. Traffic.
I do not see that in the display.
You're not seeing the image?
Oh, there it is. Sorry, it
Okay.
took a while. That was odd. Okay. Sorry, Kim, what's the title of this?
Traffic. Score is 87. Jeff, can I get you to comment, please?
Yeah, I hit it came up and I hit an 88, and then I said no, I took it back and I gave it a 90. This just has one of those tremendous impact, obviously a unique point of view from drone or aircraft or whatever. But just the composition is handled so well because this can be a tough one to figure out where to cut, what to cut out, what to leave in. Just leaving in the the circle there, the ramp, uh, just gave it strength, the curved line cutting through it. And I think the best part about this is the fact that there is no traffic, that there is just a few cars. The black and white quality is outstanding. I may have minor thing, the key line, I may have toned that back a little bit. I know it kind of matches the the lines, but minor thing, but just well job, well done on this job. I really like this.
I would like to challenge this image.
Okay, Troy wants to challenge, so go ahead, Troy.
I'm at an 89, and the more that I listen to Jeff, the more that I like this image, and I think I scored it low. And I know we're sitting at an 87. I'd love to see this maker actually get a 90 overall. I mean, if we look at the intent that goes into this image, we've got these beautiful curves. We've got these three cars that are just paired just so. I mean, the timing for that is epic. And then in the top left corner, we got this wonderful triangle that just kind of like breaks up the series. The road is within the frame. I mean, there's so much intention that's going on in this. I just feel this is epic, and I think it really just deserves a 90. So I'd love to hear what Michael has to say, what the other judges have to say, but I'm going to bring my score up from an 89 to a 90.
No, thank you. And guess who was at the 83? And as this came up, and I put my score in, and I continue to look at it, I probably should have shouted out of, can I rescore on that? Because the more I looked at it, I saw the same things. The number 3 in 2 different locations, I think is beautiful. I think the way that it's composed, I love that, that teardrop looking oval thing, and the way that it comes right into the bottom left corner is perfect as far as the cropping on that. And to Jeff's point, the black and white is done very well. The contrast in there, right in the places that you want the eyes to go to. So, I'm definitely bringing my score up. Thank you for the challenge.
Jeff, anything else to say?
Yeah, actually, just one little thing. I love this thing, as I said before. I think one little point that could make this go even higher in the future, the blacks in the trees. And I know this is tough because you got high contrast here, but if you could just soften those, like the bottom corner is a heavy black, and you could just mask those areas, and just the trees in the middle actually have very nice contrast, and not being too black, not being too obvious. That bottom right corner, the bunch on the left, again, little things like that. It's worth, you might get this up into the exceptional category with that. So, but I'm gonna stay with my 90.
Troy, any rebuttal?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, judges, if you can rescore.
I'm getting that the scorekeeper is not ready. So.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on. Okay, you should be able to score now.
Yes,
Sorry.
it's good now.
And the new score is 90.
Thank you, judges.
Good challenge. Hey, moving along, we are now in the Master Division illustrative category. The first image in the Master Division illustrative category is Conversations. Conversations. Score is 84. Michael.
Yeah,
I'm going to challenge that. If I may step in, I'm going to challenge it.
If you're going to challenge, then Jeff, go ahead and you start.
Okay.
And then everybody will get yes.
Well, I'm at an 87. I believe this needs to go into this category here. It's a very powerful. We get a lot of photojournalism images that, yeah, they have a little bit going on, but this is just, look at the two major conversations, the group in the back, very animated, all very caught in the middle of a sentence. And then the one guy's sitting on his phone, but the front group at the railing here, they stand out from the back. The tonal range has been handled just tremendously throughout the leaves, the background, the wall. Yeah, it's just very strong. The mat's very supportive. So yeah, I'm in that 87 number range.
Michael, any comments?
Yeah, no, I was low at 82. I appreciate Jeff's comments. And I know on illustrative we can't do much other than dodging and burning. I do like the black and white. As soon as it came up, I really liked the tonal range throughout the image. And And as I look at it more, and I can appreciate what Jeff's saying, some images, it's the storytelling that really can go a long ways here. And so as I look at it, and I agree with him, the conversation of the two women over on the left, the over on that right table, the one who's leaning over, I think that really adds a lot to it. Yeah, I can come up for my 82 for sure. Definitely into that next category.
Troy, any comments?
Yeah, so this is illustrative, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so just a quick correction for Michael. Being this is an illustrative, you can fix anything you want. This is not
Oh, okay.
photojournalism. So you
Oh,
can do
gotcha.
anything
Okay.
you want in
Good
this
point.
category.
Okay.
For me, I'm in an 83, and everything that Jeff said about what he likes about it, I love about it. However, being an illustrative and being in the master category, you have a lot of control. So I've got these highlights in the window that I think are quite distracting. I think that we need to crop the top third of the image off. Maybe right at that designated smoking area to really tighten us in on that group, and I put the group at the top thirds. The skin tone on the lady that's leaning in, like her right arm is bright. It's brighter than a lot of other areas in that group. And so for me, I really struggled with those tonality controls and having the ability to affect that. Plus, we've got the post at the top of the post, those details, those are highlights leaving the end of the frame. I can certainly come up a couple points. I do think this image is fantastic and very worthy of an 85. So to bump it up a point overall, I think it's very doable. But that's where I'm at.
Okay.
We do a rebuttal or just score?
Jeff, you get to do a rebuttal now.
Okay. All I can say is I agree with everything that my fellow jurors have said. And yes, actually, as I crop down from the top, I can see that would be even more better, as I like to say. But again, I think this is definitely just up above the merit category. So I'm comfortable with my 87. I'll stay there.
Okay, you can rescore. The new score is 86. Good
Cool.
challenge. Continuing in the Master Division illustrative category, we have every day. Every day. Score is 82. Troy.
I'm at an 81. I love the treatment on this image. The tonality, the color control in there, I think is fantastic. The reason that I didn't go higher than an 81 is, well, first of all, I love the look of our main subject here and that secondary, the monk in the background. That is just so cool. That is just such a neat timing. But the tree on the left is really dominant in the frame, and we don't even need that. We need just a tiny bit of it for a frame on the left. So crop that, bring the top down a little bit, and just bring us in to our subject. And then also, our subject's face is quite dark, and them being in the foreground, I'd love to see them just a little bit more. Being an illustrative, you can do that kind of stuff. So I would come up much higher on this. This has a lot of potential.
Thank you. Continuing still in the illustrative category, we have Cocktails at Mr. Fogg's. Cocktails at Mr. Fogg's. Score is 81. Michael.
Sure. And I was right there at the 81. Again, I think a good image. I'm kind of comparing it to the one that we saw a little bit a few moments ago and so forth, and that not quite as much storytelling is going on here in that. I think it's a good scene. It's an average. I mean, I think the maker did a good job of composing it. It was a little bit distracting to me to see a little bit of the motion of the couple people over there on the right. I don't know if that was intentional. To me, um, it, with them being blurry, just with a little bit of the motion blur, maybe speed the shutter speed up a little bit faster if you want to try to avoid that. But I do like I do like the image. I like the matting on it. I like the subtle key line in there. But again, a lot of good reasons to like this image, and that's why I scored it up to the merit category of 81.
Thank you. Still in the master division, illustrative category, we have Alone. Alone. There's 84. Jeff.
Well, I came in 79. When it first came up, I leaned forward in my chair and went, wow, the horse is phenomenal. The mountain is nice, the landscape. However, what held me back from going to the mayor category, I'm seeing a lot of, we'll call it haloing, but not, dark around the tree. I just feel like the tree, and that I do see some white outline around the tree where the sky's been darkened, but I'm also seeing some ghost kind of darker tones around the tree itself. Again, that falls into technical issue. The story is cool, the title is cool, the clouds coming down, and I do like the tree there. It's a good extra prop to give it some depth. It's a little dark. I mean, I can see a little detail, but just a tiny bit more. And I'm guessing the attempt to darken the sky was a good idea, but it's showing of what was happening, not simply just to make it darker. So that's why I ended up at 79. Technical reasons.
Thank you. Still in the master division, illustrative category, we have Ready to Run. Ready to Run. Score is 82. Michael. And
I
this is
think
the
this,
majority
yeah,
challenge.
the score is 80, right? And
Correct. The score is
my
80.
my score was 82. I put it in the lower end of the merit category. Yeah, and I guess what I liked about it and what put me into that category was the expressions of the dogs, particularly the one there on front, the front right part of it, just the eyes, the tongue, the excitement. I think it was, again, it was the story is what got me up there into the merit category. I do see a couple of things though that I think could be improved. There's a couple little, whether they're dirt spots or something like that up in the kind of upper right. There's one, and then since this category you can clone things out in that, there's whatever I see the ropes leading to the sled dogs here and that, but there's down on the lower left part of it, there's a strip there that doesn't it's not attached to anything, so I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's a little bit distracting, especially being right on the edge of the frame. So that's like I said, I gave it a 82.
Troy, your comments?
I'm at a 79, and this is one of those images that very much like everything Michael said, it's like right away you're like, oh, this is so cool. But then looking at the technical excellence and looking at the composition and looking at all that, especially in the master division, there's just not a major center of interest to really draw me in. There's no middle ground, foreground, middle ground, background. There's no light. There's no leading paths. I there's not as much story going on in here as I think there could be. Now, if this had been in like photojournalism, that would have been completely different. I would have gone much higher. But being an illustrative, you have infinite control. So that's where I'm at a 79. Him is muted.
Jeff, do you have any comments for us? Talking to my screen.
Are you talking to me?
Yes,
Okay.
because this is an automatic challenge because of the majority rule.
Oh, right.
Just, do you have any comments?
Gotcha. Well, you know what? Again, this is hard because it's a nice photograph of these two dogs. But the things that were mentioned already, the all the lines, the colors, the chunk in the snow, even and I realize this is a sled area, so there's a lot of stuff going on in the snow. But when you're thinking competition, you're thinking you've got to take it to a little bit more of a pristine level. And if these guys are standing in fresh snowfall and the leashes weren't there, different story, different category. As it is, I hate to use the word snapshot because I don't mean to be mean by it, but that's really all it's striking as a nice picture of a couple of dogs. To go into a competition that's asking to give it a high score and things, there's a lot of those things the guys mentioned already that are just keeping it from going there. It just even feels real tight in the cropping, especially on the right. And like that, that's enough said, but that was the 78.
Okay. Judges, you'll need to rescore. And the new score is a 79. And just a note that if an image merits, it cannot be re-entered in our competitions. If an image does not merit, it can be reworked and re-entered. So reducing it from a merit image to a 79, although makers don't usually like that, but it does give the maker the opportunity to rework the image, resubmit it, and potentially bring the score up to a much higher score. So continuing along, still in the Master Division Illustrative category, we have role model. Role model. Or is 80. Troy, if you could comment for us.
I'm at an 80, and the title is perfect. I love the title. I wish the presentation was a little bit stronger. I'm not one to knock off points for presentation, but I think that the impact can sometimes be stronger. So I think a black background would have done a lot better on this image. This is one of those tough images where it's neat, it's nice to see, but in this level of division, like, where is the interest? Where am I being drawn to? What is happening? Where's the hook? Where's the second hook? And we have this really cool mask and this really cool kid down there, but it just kind of stops there. It's flat. So I like the image a lot, thus the 80 in the master division. So
Thank you. Continuing along, still in the Master Division Illustrative category, a hard right turn. A hard right turn. Score is an 80 with a majority challenge. So Jeff, I'm going to have you start this time.
Okay. Well, I came in at 79. I bounced back and forth over that fence there. The capture is done well. It's unique from a lot of the scenes that we see like this. Love I don't know what the right word is, the air coming off the wings. The blown out highlight on the bottom wing technically bothers me quite a bit. I don't know if I would have gone with that bright a blue border. I think you could have gotten away with a border that matched the sky better so the jet would stand out. It's personal choice. I know I got a moving object. It looks pretty sharp. Feel like I'm seeing a halo around the front of the wings and the nose. If you look closely, there's a little bit of a haloing there, which again goes to technical excellence. So that's why I came in at 79.
Troy, any comments?
yeah, I want to score this image higher. Like, I love this so much. I think that you know, the gradient that we have from the nose of the plane to the back, right? Like you can kind of see how the air density is changing. I think that is fantastic. What kept me from going any higher than a 78 is that blown highlight off the right wing. And you know, in the master division, like that's just this kind of thing that we just are not going to let go by very much. So that's where I'm at with that. So I'm at a 78, but this image is fantastic, and I think it definitely deserves to be worked on.
Mhm.
May I throw a quick comment in
Michael?
there? From all my years of judging, when you look at the elements of design, you know, they're all pretty much um, you work them the way you can, the best you can. But number four, technical excellence is a pretty hard, fast rule. If it's not
Mhm.
sharp, if there's
Right.
blown out highlights, those kind of things. So just, and it's sad because you get this unique image and you're so excited about it. But if you've got some blown out highlights at that, and there's ways nowadays that you can fix those, don't enter in competition because it isn't going to score what you'd like it to, even though the impact and the story and all that is phenomenal. That blown out highlight alone, almost every judge I know of will say, nope, not a merit. So just keep that little fact in mind.
Michael, any comments?
Yeah, just real quick. Pretty much it's already been said. I wanted to go a little bit higher, and I did at 82. But you know, I am taking in what the other judges have said. Initially I was really impressed with the sharpness of the pilot and cockpit and looking at some of those details. Couple things, I won't repeat the things that have already been said because I do think those were some of the things that were pulling me down from going a little bit higher. Also, the other thing too is a lot of times whenever you have a moving subject like this, plane, bird in flight, whatever it might be, and so forth, uh, it's okay to have it here dead center in that, but sometimes giving a little bit more room over to the right for it to fly into and maybe a little bit less room over on the left, just kind of put it into that rule of thirds type of deal with giving it space to move into. And that would have been one other thing that was holding me back from going a little bit higher.
Okay, judges, if you could rescore. And it becomes a 79. Oops, hold on. Okay, continuing along in our master division illustrative category, we have decaying. Decaying. Or is 78. Michael.
Yeah, and 78 is where I came in. I mean, I think it's a good scene. I do like the idea of getting the way the maker framed the truck. I guess I'm going to consider that being the main part of the scene into the one, whether it's a doorway or windowway, whatever that is right there, split by there's a beam there, and then we've got a whole different scene that's over there on the left with the buildings and the old wagon that looks like it's seen better days and that. Couple things that were, again, I think a good image. I think I like the idea behind it, but then there were a couple things that were holding me back. I know there's nothing you could do right at that time of day and that, but the light streaks that are coming in from, there must be some slots or whatever that are allowing just those rays of light, but just where they're positioned, it's kind of pulling my eye up and over towards them rather than where I think I would rather be looking into the scene. So, and then this one here, I think, it's a black and white image. As far as the matting, maybe go something in a gray tone or a very dark tone or something like that, as opposed to the green that or the whatever that color is that was selected for the border. I would use a different presentation for that also. So I was at was I 78?
Thank you. We are now moving into the master division nature category. The first image in the nature category is above all. Above all. Four is 83. Troy.
I'm at an 83, and this is beautiful. I mean, the bald eagle is fantastic. And to say that and be like, oh, but you're an 83, why aren't you higher? Well, I wish we had some more blue sky with some clouds and some depth and some other things like that. I mean, this is a fantastic photograph of the bald eagle in flight, but that's where it kind of ends. And I wish that there was more going on in this. And I don't mean that to sound like, oh, this isn't a good enough image, like, on its own, but in this level of category and in the master division, like, you need those other elements, like this thing just by itself. And the sky itself, it feels a little gray, and I wish that it was a little bit more blue. And so those are things that I wish that you could kind of tweak those tones a little bit. But exceptional detail in the head, which is really, really hard to get. The eyes are tack sharp. And so that's why I'm at an 83. So well done.
Continuing in the Master Division Nature category, we have a black-crowned night heron. Black-crowned night heron. Four is 83. Jeff.
Yeah, I was just thinking about maybe even challenging it. Let's go that route. I'm at 88.
Okay.
Simple. Love that. But look at the quality. You got some strong light. You handled it very well. The background is done very well. I don't want to say the word perfect, but it's that kind of background you want for wildlife, for birds and such. So it's something there, a little texture without taking over the scene. Technically, great exposure, sharpness, eyeball stands out, the detail in the shadows underneath the body, the matte choice, the little stroke that you chose. I just think this is very strong. Again, I came in at 88, might be considering a little bit more. Let me hear what you guys have to say.
Troy, your comments.
I'm apparently the bad guy on the group. I'm at a 79. And where everything that you said, Jeff, is correct. But where I'm really struggling with this in this level of division is the highlight control from the feet to the top of the bird. I don't see any gradient there. Like, I feel like it's too hot on the back legs, but also I feel very crowded at the bottom part of the frame in the bottom left. I feel like there could be more breathing space for this image. And I kind of look at this as a portrait of this bird, which is wonderful. But we do have some highlight control on the feet and some issues right there. And on the back of the bird, I feel like a little dodging and burning, you could really, really, really bring this up and really create some more shape and form. So, I mean, I'm at a 79. Admittedly, I'm probably a couple points low. But I feel like there's a lot more that can be done with this image.
Michael.
Sure. Yeah, right away when it came up, I saw it as also as striking. I was at 83. I could probably go up a couple of notches. Can definitely appreciate what Jeff was saying as far as I love the fall off in the background and how the bird really stands out. I love I think the positioning of it is good. I didn't feel like it was too crowded down at the bottom. I wasn't hitting it there. To me, it was just that the feet were pretty bright, and I guess I understand that time of day and so forth, and that you're going to get some hot spots, especially on the brighter part of the bird as opposed to like where the feathers are in that. But it was the brightness of the feet that I think were taking me away from the other main part of the bird that I want to go to. The head is nicely lit. I mean, I agree with that, but the feet are still keep getting my attention on that. I could go up a point or two, but probably not too much further.
Well, sorry. You're going to call my name out, right?
Yep.
Just trying to save you some words for the day. In rebuttal, yes, the light cutting across the legs was something that I did notice. I don't see any blowout. There's definitely a wraparound lighting to shadow on the legs. They are bright, but I still keep going back to that red eye and that very crisp texture. I mean, you can almost see every single feather. as far as the size of the bird in the frame, I think that's kind of cool. It gives us this, I don't know what size this bird in his real life. I think it's bigger than a robin, I know. But I just think it's kind of impressive. It's one of those rules that the maker has looked at and go, nah, I'm not going to bother with that. And I think you did it pretty well. Yeah, it's a little close to the bottom, but the nails, you can still see them clearly. They're just a little bit, they're soft enough, or I should say, in shadow enough that they don't take over. I still see the lighting on the shoulder and the face and the beak, and especially that red eye. Um, I'm I'm liking this. I think I'm going to stay at my 88. So there you go.
Hey, judges, if you can rescore, please. And the new score is 84. Continuing, still in the Master Division Nature category, we have Last Light Flight. Last Light Flight. Yeah. Score is 82. Let's go with Troy.
Yeah, I'm at an 84 on this one. This is just wonderful to me. I think that you have this wonderful expanse. You got this harmonious color balance in this image. Whether I look at it up close or I kind of lean back a little bit, I feel like this is such a powerful image and this is so well done. Even though, we have like this not super sophisticated lighting. Where I'm struggling, and maybe this is one of the things that held me back was the head of the bird is a little bit too bright. So I feel like you need to bring that down. And I know that you can't do a whole lot in this category, but that bright spot that's right behind that reflection, I would love to see that come down some more. And I'm imagining that that was probably even brighter. But other than that, I mean, like for me, this is just one of those images that the composition, the horizontal presentation, the angle of the bird, the focus, wingtip to wingtip, really, really, really nice. That's why I was at 84.
Thank you. Continuing still in the Master Division Nature category, Building a New Nest. Building a New Nest.
You want your food, Bandit? Are you hungry? Huh? You want to eat?
Okay, someone needs to mute their mic. Whoever has Bandit as a dog.
Oh.
I'm sure Bandit's hungry. Score is 82. Michael.
I was in the close to that at 83, so I was a little bit higher. A great these I believe it's a blue heron. We get them out here. In fact, in the next couple of days, I'm going to go try and photograph a couple of these guys myself. And this is a fun time of year when they're building their nests and you watch them fly off and they come back with these branches and that. So I love the story on this. Again, so I thought it was good enough to give it the merit category 83. Couple things that held me back a little bit were this one I do feel is a little bit crowded over there on the left-hand side. I like giving space over to the right, but I think that that this one is a little bit too tight over on that left side. A couple of other things, just a little bit on the technical side. The underside of the wing that's facing us here is there's some darks that might be all the way black. I can't tell, but I'm hoping that maybe there's enough detail in there that you could go in there and with maybe luminosity masking or something like that, pull a little bit more detail in those dark feathers on the that part of it. And then also I'm just kind of looking around the edges. I don't know if it's like a vignette or something that was done, but it looks like maybe a little bit too strong. Is that it just doesn't look natural to have that much darkness in the corners, all four corners, and that have that darkness. And so vignetting can, I think, sometimes enhance an image, but here it feels to me like it's done and made to look a little bit unnatural.
May I add one more thing, please?
Very quickly.
So this image and the last one, I think a lot could be solved in the comments, or maybe this is very high contrast. You're losing the heads in both scenes. You're losing the under wings in both scenes. I think if you adjust your contrast, you might have a lot more of a workable scene. It's just the high contrast makes it all these problems we've been talking about.
Thank you. So continuing master division nature category, we have all fluffed up and nowhere to go. All
Hold on,
fluffed up and nowhere to go.
I lost that page on my phone. Hold on a second.
The score page?
The score page. Does this still show that I'm signed in?
Yes, it does.
Interesting. So I'm opening that in my tabs and I don't see it. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me see what I get here.
If you have to sign back in, it should take you back right where you.
Okay. Let me see if this does that. So just bringing up like part of the screen for some reason. All tabs. See, on my screen, it's showing that an error had occurred.
Try this one more time. Judges, if you've scored, please rescore.
Sorry about that. I'm going to come back and just re-sign from the beginning.
Okay. Let me know when you get back in, Michael.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
Okay.
So just have to look back up. Okay, I'm back in. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay.
Score is 82. Jeff.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 82. I really enjoy this kind of a photograph of an animal, of a bird, because there's a little bit of action coming right at the camera is just unique. Beautiful texture, nice sharpness, tonal range throughout the bird is great. Where I'm having a problem, it would have kept me got me go a little higher, is the background. There's just ever so slight brownish tone and such, but it's heavy. And a lot of times we think of the birds, it usually is a little bit more of a lighter area for me. Not that we need a light background, but something that you could probably come up 10, 15% of opacity on that background in the water. and it would still be not obvious. It would still but be more supportive. It would give a little bit of depth. And overall, the bird could be a little lighter as well. But I think, man, nice eye, nice capture, the texture, the motion in the water, a little bit of splashing, the hair on its head or feathers, depending on who you talk to. Really, really nice job. The reflection is just outstanding. But again, just a little bit dark and makes it heavy.
Thank you. Still continuing in Master Division Nature category, we have pachyderms on parade. Pachyderms on parade. Score is 83. Michael.
Sure. I was a little bit higher on this one. I was at 85. I thought it was deserving of being in that little bit higher category in the above merit. I think what I liked about it is, again, the elephants, the way they really stand out against in the scene. The grass is in the foreground. I like the green back there in the background, the transition from one to the other and right where the elephants are positioned. I also liked the fact that there's a few birds scattered in there, white birds in that, to kind of give it a little bit more interest, something else in the scene other than just the elephants. I know with animals like this, you can't ask them where to go and how to act and how to separate from one another. I wish that the one that's fourth from the right had separation from the one that's right there in front of it. All the other ones, there's a little separation, but again, with this many, it's kind of tough to get all of them to get that separation. So that was maybe one of the things that held me back a little bit, but I did feel it was strong enough to put me up into the 85 category.
Thank you. Still in Master Division Nature category, we have the nose that knows. The nose that knows. Score is 80. Troy.
I'm at an 80, so I guessed well. This is such a cute image. This is really, really great, and I really enjoy, what we have here. Where I didn't go higher than an 80 is we have so much space on the right hand side that we don't even need in this photo. Like we could just crop off almost 3/4 of that right hand side, and then the foreground, the grass in the foreground is bright, and we can burn that down. That would be wonderful. I do see what looks like some haloing around our critter's left like ear and cheek area and stuff, and we get into that technical excellence at this level. We should not be seeing that now. That could be natural, but even if it's natural, you want to look at it, because if it draws attention to the judges, you want to do something with that. So I'm at an 80, but I think that you could really work this image, crop it a little bit tighter, some dodging and burning, look at some of the technical issues, and I think you could go even higher.
Thank you. And our Master Division Nature category final entry in the Nature category is Tanzania Sunset. Tanzania Sunset. There's 83. Michael.
Yeah, I was higher on this one. Again, this is one of the ones that just the tonal, the colors of it, the zebra there, there was so much of this one I liked. I can go higher than that, but 89, there was a lot I liked about it. So the zebra, I don't. These are difficult images to avoid haloing. I'm looking at it. I don't see any halos. I was looking, I think, pretty closely in that. So the fact that the maker was able to avoid those, sometimes when you have this kind of contrast with the backlighting and that, it's really hard to avoid those. And I think the maker did a great job of doing that. You got the sun back there. Yeah, that's a bright spot, but where it's positioned, and the fact that it's throwing off this nice orange glow throughout, orange and purple and magenta, all this stuff going on throughout the sky. I really like this one. So like I said, I was up at the 89 level.
I'd like to challenge this image.
Okay, Troy, go ahead and challenge.
And I hate to do these kind of challenges, but I need to challenge this down below a merit. There is a lot of Photoshop artifacts in this image, right behind the back of the zebra. That little dot, that little speck you see, that is like an artifact. I can see some haloing on the back right-hand leg, but predominantly, if you look in front of the zebra, like the top of its head, where those lines are, like that's actually translucent, so it's actually like showing through. Underneath the neck, there is looks like some weird cloning patterns, but most predominantly, right out in front of the zebra, right along the grass, there's this super soft patch that you can see there, and it blends up into the banding of the sky. And initially I was at an 80 and I was like, man, I really love this image, but something's bugging me about it. And then I just took the time while Michael was talking and really studied it. And unfortunately, this is one of those images that has a lot of Photoshop work to it that we can see. And we can't reward that. Like you've got to not do that. So I think you have an amazing image here, and I think that it certainly deserves some work, but maybe not that much work. So I'm gonna give this one a 76 in the master division. I think that it needs to be something that sets an example.
Jeff, any comments?
Not anymore than that. I think Troy nailed it all pretty good. That's why I ended up at what do I have, an 81. There's just lots of those little things that I think could be remedied, could make this be a higher scoring image. Another thing I'll just throw in there that judges will call you out on is your key line. When it blends into the background, you're going to get some talk about that. The key line, in this case, I would have made it detached, make it smaller, if you're doing that orange against black, make it 1 point, make it 50% opacity. It just needs to be there as a rule, not as a decorative element.
Michael, anything else on
Yeah. No, great points that the other two brought up. And now that I see it, I'll be honest, I missed that patch of it makes no sense, right, for that one patch of that foreground there to be blurry when everything else is fairly sharp. I'm trying to understand how that could be. And then the other thing Troy pointed out, the banding in that. I saw those streaks there. I wasn't sure if that was. I think he's probably right. That probably is. And a lot of times that happens with a little bit excessive post-processing in that. So I'm seeing a couple of those technical items in that too. And to Jeff's point, the key line should be detached. It definitely is blending right in with some of the sky in that. So good comments. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to take my score down also.
All right, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, judges, if you can please rescore. New score is 77. Okay, let's get ready to start again. We are still in the master division. We are now in the photojournalism category, and our first image is Defying Gravity. Defying Gravity.
Hang on, for some reason I've lost my screen here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, how dumb is that? There. Okay, good.
At least yours was recovered quickly. I I wasn't so fast with that.
Please tell me what the title is again.
Defying Gravity.
Okay, thanks.
Score is 81. Jeff.
Well, I came in at 84. This one really caught my eye. I'm just intrigued about this kind of work. Obviously, we can't do this in Colorado too often, so it's just very intriguing. I like the the surfer is sharp, the board is sharp, the waves in front, but I like the motion of the waves in the background, the splash. It gives us some sense of motion. Um, Color harmony is fine, lots of bright sunlight on the body. Maybe I would tone that down a little bit. You start getting under the arm with the highlight, starts getting a little bit, that yellow gamut starts going out a little bit, minor things. Um, Maybe I would have placed the subject to the to the right a little bit more, maybe cutting in that wave on the right side is just pulling my eye unnecessarily. That little break, maybe just crop inside of that, I think would make the border just a little bit more prominent and push him off center just a little bit. Black mat, okay. Maybe try a green that matches into the very deep jades of the green on the the bottom right corner is dark, just above that. Just try and see. You never know. Every judge is going to have a difference of opinion of what color mat, but that's 84 is where I came in at.
Thank you. Continuing still in the Master Division Photojournalism category, we have Kinkaku Temple in Kyoto. Kinkaku Temple in Kyoto.
It's easy for you to say.
Not really. And apologies to the makers because I probably butchered that. Or is 78. Troy.
I'm at a 78, and a beautiful scene does not a merit image make. There's a lot that to love about this, and there's a lot that could have been done from this location. But looking at the image before me, some dodging and burning would really, really, really strengthen this image. The foreground is bright. You got this wonderful sky and this wonderful building and everything. But the tonality across the entire image is pretty much the same. So we're not drawn into that. And in photojournalism, you can dodge and burn and you can crop. So we got this giant, tree over on the right-hand side that's kind of coming into the frame. It's not really adding any element to this. If you do some cropping, I know you like that reflection of the tree in there. So, get us in there and burn in a little bit so we can be drawn into the building. But currently the way that it is, it's probably the same shot a lot of people took from that very location. You got to think about how do I make it different? Get down, find reflections, shoot through windows, find stuff like that. So you do have a lot of potential here, and I think it can merit. But in the Master Division, it's going to be hard to merit with this.
Continuing in Master Division Photojournalism, we have Gulp. Gulp. Or is 79. Michael.
Yeah, it was 1 point above that, and so I was at 80. Um, what uh, what I liked about it was the timing. We have pelicans out here in Colorado, also, believe it or not, and I go and photograph them sometimes at our local lakes and so forth. And I do not yet have one of a trout being right there in that part of the mouth. So I would like to get that shot sometime myself in that. So I can appreciate that. A couple things that kept me from going higher were I think maybe photojournalism. So I know there's not a whole lot you can do here, but you can do some dodging and burning still in that kind of that bright rock that's right above the head there. And I know you can't eliminate things, but maybe crop it down to where that dark um, black section that's up there on the right hand side of it, if that was cropped just a little bit lower, that wouldn't stand out. So like I said, I was at 80, just barely in the merit category, more for the story than the technical aspects of the image.
Thank you. Moving on to our final category in the master division, we have master portrait. Our image in master portrait is flotsam. Flotsam. There's 82. Troy.
I'm at an 88, and I want to challenge this image because, if nothing else, I want to hear the other judges' thoughts on this. It's very rare that we get an image that is really simple and this impactful. And I think that when we look at like the human form, floating in the water, this wonderful black tonality that we have going all around, creating this wonderful depth and shadow. Our subject is slightly off center, slightly low, floating with ease, and that left hand, up behind her hair and stuff like that. I just think that it's epic. It's fine art, right? Like this is the Edward Weston and level type of work where I probably should be higher. I can't find anything that I see that's really wrong with this, but that's why I want to hear from the other judges. I just think this is fantastic.
Michael.
Yes, so I was at 80. So I can appreciate Troy's comments in that. I'm trying to think of, what it was that caused me to not go higher. I know he was complimentary of the dark edges along the sides and so forth, and that I think they might be black without any detail. But maybe in a scene like this, to his point, maybe that's okay, because certainly my attention isn't getting pulled to that darkness, but it's going more towards the subject. And then we've got, as you rise further up, you've got some brighter part, just the way the sun hits it, and that. And to that point, she's kind of framed within whatever that tone that's there, like right there immediately surrounding her, down and below her, and so forth. So yeah, and the way that the light is hitting her, the face is being hit just right. So I am a bit low with my score in that. I could go higher than that.
Jeff, your comments.
78. I want to like this a lot. I think the comments that Troy made were very strong in the uniqueness of it and such, the pose. Problems I'm having in this being in the portrait category, the angle of the face, the nose crossing the edge of the face. I mean, I'm going from the old timers version. Those are just going against all my better judgment as far as a portrait. I think this would have been an what would you call it, unclassified, or a different photojournalism
Like
category.
illustrative for us.
What's that?
Illustrative is our kind of open.
That's the word.
Anything.
Yeah. I think that would have been a totally different story for me. This does not fall into portrait thinking as far as I'm concerned. I would maybe have cut out a little bit more of the black on the bottom and the right. One big white spot in the middle of the black is pulling my eye again. I sound like I'm being very picky, but those are little things that a judge sees and check mark no. 78, I could come up to 80. I'm just not seeing it being that powerful because of all the things I've stated.
Troy, any rebuttal?
Yeah, I would say to the portrait category comment, I think that it's time for judging to look past some really, really old standards. A portrait is a reflection of an individual, and this individual, we don't know, but maybe she's a surfer, maybe like maybe she lives in the water, maybe this is her element. So this is really storytelling about her. I don't think it has to be the traditional head and shoulders. Now, I do agree that we probably could use more of that, but like overall, I can see her face clearly. I can see the expression on her face. I can see her eyes. I can see the docile expression in her face. And so I feel it's a strong portrait. So I'm going to stay at 88, and I definitely appreciate the comments from the judges because it's great to hear how everybody views an image like this. So
Thank you. If you can rescore. And the new score is 85.
thank you, judges.
We are now moving into the regular division. The first category in the regular division is illustrative. And our first image in the illustrative category in the regular division is Simple Beauty. Simple Beauty. Score is 85. Jeff.
I came in at 84. I battled with, I want to go a little higher, so I'll have to listen if we decide to do any more about this. Um, Soft, delicate, beautiful textures in the flower, like the angle coming up. What held me from going a little higher is the stem is just so black and heavy. The top of the vignette on the top of the image is just the same thing. I do enjoy the texture and the color, the tones of the background that was used. And then it's not just flat, there's some movement in it, but it just as delicate and soft as these flowers are, I'm just feeling like that those things I mentioned are just holding it back from going into that next category.
Thank you. Next up in the regular division illustrative category is All Dressed Up. All Dressed Up. Score is 80, and we have a majority challenge. So, Michael, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. So I was at 84. I just love uh, the color, the way the white flowers are pop out from the background. I think the background is really well done. I'm fine with the leaves down in the bottom corner being a little bit dark, but they're not too dark. To me, the contrast and the shapes and that, I was trying to tell if some of those highlights or some of the whites were a little bit blown. I don't think so. I think I'm still seeing detail in there, but that was a part of it that I was kind of really taking a real hard look at. So I was a bit higher at 84. I still felt that it was a merit-worthy image. So that's where I came in at. But I'm curious to hear the other judges' comments too.
Oh, Pro, your comments.
Boy, I'm going to be the judge, and nobody wants to come back, I'm sure. I'm at a 78, and I think I'm high. Um, this image has a lot of Photoshop work that is unfortunately very obvious. One, the flower itself is not in focus, but the stem is in focus. So we've missed focus. The the flower petal in the top left, it's soft, 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 and then it's super sharp. You got a super sharp edge that's completely unnatural. If we go down that right-hand stem, you can see down at the bottom it actually overlaps the green, and it's kind of sharp at the bottom. That should be soft, and it should blend in. There are some shadows along that stem about halfway in the middle, the neck of that stem, that you can see some shadows where it wasn't cleaned up properly. Middle petal, bottom left-hand corner, there's some white debris in there. So unfortunately, and there's more. I won't go on and on. There's just a lot of things in this image that have Photoshop trails from it, and even in the basic category in the general division, like we shouldn't be seeing that. So you've got a good job, good idea, but you've got to mask all that stuff better, and you got to be able to blend all those things. So I'm at a 78.
Well,
Yeah.
Troy, it looks like we're in the same bus here. I'm at 78 as well for a lot of the same things. And not to create a longer grocery list, but just notice a lot of things he was mentioning. Plus, I see the top flower, the one petal has some uh, brown amber color to it, where the rest of the petals are all very much white. Even the shadow petal in the back is white, goes to the gray. There's a color in there. Yeah, he's listed it pretty well. It very much looks like it's been cut out. There were maybe a background added. Whether it is or it isn't doesn't matter. The point is that it looks like it with the things that Troy mentioned, the shadows along the edge of this. They're not even uniform shadows or black tones along the edge of that, especially the middle stem, bottom of the left stem. Little things like that is what keep us from going. So I'm going to be at 78.
Okay, judges, if you can. Well, actually, Michael, do you have any rebuttal?
No, not a rebuttal. I'm hearing what the other judges are saying, and as they're describing those, I'm looking at those very points that maybe I missed some of the technical aspects of it, and that the focus. Now that I look at it, there's a few inconsistencies there, and that are popping out. So appreciate the comments that came in, and so unfortunately, I'll be lowering my score as well.
Okay, if judges, if you can rescore. Score is 78. Continuing in the regular division landscape category, we have Afterglow. Afterglow.
Landscape division category, you said?
Yes, landscape. Score is 78. Troy.
Yeah, I love this image. I really do. I think that you have a fantastic image here. And the reason that I'm at a 79 is it's a bit of a protest vote, and I was hoping it didn't merit, is because I want you to go back and rework this. I think this is going to be a merit, probably a low merit, but this is wonderful. But the problem is that you have a ton of little black specks all over this frame. I don't know if they're gnats or if they're dirt on the sensor. But if those were to be cleaned up, I would give you a low merit, like 80, 81, 82. If you were to clean up that branch that went up out of the top of the frame, like just clone that little guy out of there, I could go a couple points higher. So I think it's beautiful. I love the composition. I love everything you got. The simplicity. This is great. Just got to clean up that frame.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yep.
Moving along, regular division landscape category, we have Lone Sentinel at Sunset. Lone Sentinel at Sunset.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that one.
Okay,
Margie.
someone wants to mute.
That was not my wife, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Score is 86. Jeff,
Challenge.
go ahead.
Simplicity. Uniqueness. Wonderful story. Um, color harmony, matte harmony. Everything is just going for you. I hesitated because there was a couple of white spots on the lower right, and then I reached up and wiped off my screen and they're not there. So that's why I hit the 90s. I know, I just think this is good, great balance. You get a nice, comfortable thirds of both where the sun and the cactus are placed, the horizon line, beautiful gradation. Um, and the more I'm looking at it, talking myself into maybe I didn't go high enough. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah,
Michael,
I'll go ahead and say, I think it's beautiful. I agree with Jeff and Margie. These shots I like to do a lot of times myself, and always hope that I get something that's impressive in that, with the sun, with the sunburst in that. I think it was well done there. I looked through the sky. I thought it was pretty clean. Of it, just the tone of, right there above the horizon and all the way up to the top is natural looking, but beautiful. Jeff brought up a good point there on simplicity. You've got this the cactus out there that stands up, and you've got the sun over here on the side. I think that's all really well done. If there was, and this is very small nitpicky, and I can certainly go higher because I'm not going to let this hold it back in that. But on the matting, the key line, the color of that key line blends right into lots of parts of that sky. Maybe a point would be to separate that out, do a separated key line in there so it doesn't go right up against the sky. But I can go higher on this one.
Troy, your comments?
I'm at an 85, and I can certainly appreciate what Jeff is saying in this image, and I'm happy to come up a point or two. I think where I'm struggling going much higher than like an 85 or 87 and getting into that 90 category is like, what are the other elements of this image that are just really, really powerful, right? If we look at the 12 elements, and we look at the technical skill, and we look at the creativity, and we look at all these things. I mean, yes, we have this really beautiful image, but where is the rest of it, right? Like, where, like, I know this image doesn't have it, but if you had these wispy clouds, or if you had some detail in the foreground with a leading path, or some of those type of elements, it would really make this image a 90 for me. So I think I'm just shy of that, simply because of maybe that's overly simplistic. So I love the fact that it's at an 85, and I mean that I'm at an 85, and that we want to go higher. I could go a couple points, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, just quick rebuttal. I'm looking at this, and I think the first thing that leads me down the high scoring path is when I can see this hanging in a hotel lobby as a 100-inch print. Um, that's the impact that it's given to me, is something it's that simple. I don't believe that it needs texture in the foreground path or anything else. I mean, you want to get picky. The reason I didn't go higher is there's one branch, one twig growing up and just touching the right arm of the cacti. I would, if that wasn't there, minor thing. Um, Other than that, I mean, it's one of those that when it hits you at that impact, it's like, okay, I think this is one of those images that just couldn't be any simpler and couldn't be really any powerful, because we can go in and say maybe a little this, maybe a little that. I can pick out a couple of things, but are we starting to get nitpicky? As it is, when it hit me, it's the impact is lasting impact. I'm still liking it. I'm at 90. I think I'm going to go to 95.
All right, judges, if you can rescore. The new score is 90.
Thanks, guys. That's cool.
Good points.
Continuing in the regular division landscape category, we have shared silence. Shared silence. Score is 84. Let's go with Michael.
Sure, sure. I was at 85, so I'm in the ballpark there. So I went 1 point higher than that. But I think there's some things that could be done to improve it. So what I really liked about it was, the way that they're silhouetted against this gorgeous sky, and then the layers of hills and mountains in the background, and that just the way that the colors work back in there. I think that part of the scene for me is really strong, and that's why I went up to the score of 85. Couple of things that kept me from going higher. One is there's this big rock on the lower right that is a little bit brighter than all of the other. I think to me it would just be a matter of, and I think some of that space down there isn't all that necessary. So this is just the way I would probably do it, is I would probably crop just above that so I don't have that distraction, and that's going to lead me more into the bigger part of the scene up there. The other part of it is the key line white. Again, I don't want to ding it too hard for that, but it's maybe a point or so, something like that, that I took off for just the white key line, especially as the contrast of that against some of the stuff down on the darker lower part of it is a little bit distracting, kind of pulls my eye away from the main part of the image in that. So again, I was at 85, but like I said, with a couple of things that I just mentioned, in my mind anyways, I could see myself going up to 90 with a couple of those tweaks.
Thank you. Now in the nature division, excuse me, the regular division, nature category, we have bad hair day without hair. Bad hair day without hair.
That's how I felt today. Holy cow.
Or is 83. Troy.
I'm at an 83. I really like this image. This is really cute. Uh, where I am struggling, well, first of all, let me just say the title is great. But where I'm struggling is the lighting on the bird feels unnatural. And what I mean by that is that head and the beak and the breast are so bright, but the rest of the body and the rock is so much darker. And I think that's due to some heavy dodging and burning, right? Some heavy burning, some heavy vignette in there. And although it plays to the image well, I think it's extensive. So be very, very careful of that. Being in regular division, I did score it higher, but I do really enjoy that. And then that horizontal white line that we have in the background, I see that you've probably worked
Mhm.
at burning that down near the bird, but work on it a little bit more as we get out away from the bird, from the subject. It's intersecting the head. And this is also a good lesson for when you're there shooting. You'll see that next time and you'll be like, oh, the judges are going to call me on that. I should kneel down a little bit or stand up a
Mhm.
little taller and isolate the bird against the water, and you'll get even better score. So I'm at an 83. I think it's a great image. So well done.
Thank you. Continuing regular division, photojournalism category, we now have hanging on. Hanging on. What is 85? Jeff.
Boy, I really like this. I was at 85. Wonderful action. A lot of times, this is a really tough one because you'll get the bike and the rider up in the air and you'll miss a leg or an arm or hand. But I mean, it's well defined. You can see the angle of the bike is great because you can still see the bike cleanly. The rider definitely looks like he's flying, or she. I shouldn't automatically assume it's a guy. I don't mind the back foot being a little bit, but you can see the knee and the foot, so it really makes them look like they're sprawled out. There's action. I love that it's just all on blue sky, the blue mat, the nice key line is perfect. The position of the whole thing, it's got wonderful impact, good composition, good exposure. I think you nailed this one, 85.
I think that's Troy up there on that bike.
Oh, used to be.
And for our final image in competition tonight in the regular division photojournalism category, we have it's a helicopter, it's a plane, it's an osprey. It's a helicopter, it's a plane, it's an osprey. Score is 80. Michael.
Yeah, so I was 82, so I was a little bit higher than that. Um, I liked it. Again, the sharpness of the pilot in the cockpit, the sharpness, the detail on the aircraft, I think is really good. As far as, when I look at these kind of images, I try and think about, should it be such a fast shutter speed to freeze the propellers, or sometimes it also helps to have something that goes a little bit slower so you see more of the motion, maybe even a little bit more of this. But that's such a fine line between what's the right speed and what doesn't quite do it for it. Here, I think it doesn't quite do it. I'd maybe go a little bit faster or a little bit slower just to give more sense of motion, or give it that freezing action in that. I think everything else about it, I really enjoyed about it. The sky, I think the matte selection was fine. So I did put this one up into that score of 82. If there was another maybe potential comment, is not to have it be dead center, but maybe have a little bit more room over on the right, the direction that the plane is flying.
All right, thank you. That concludes the regular portion of our printcompetition.com image competition. We're now going to be finished with print competition, and we're going to go just to the Zoom portion for IEPPV to do the not the category winners, but the best of show for each division. So let me well, we don't do it the way they do it. Okay. Give me just a minute to pull that up and share my screen.
So are we looking at the Zoom window now?
You should be looking at the Zoom window now.
Got it.
Okay. And just a second, right
Excuse
thing
me.
here. Okay. Hold on, I have to get out of the print competition screen. Okay. Just a moment. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. So I'm going to be bringing up the best in category winners. I'll bring them up. You'll see them all. I'm not going to announce who they are, but they are best of category. Then judges, you will pick out of the best of category what you like the best for your best of show. First will be the master division. It will be up to you to either pick one, this is the one we want, or start to eliminate ones until you narrow it down. So either way. And why is my Zoom not sharing? Okay. Are you guys seeing my screen now?
Only a sliver of it. I think you shared the wrong part of Lightroom when you shared it.
This way. Try this again.
Yeah.
Okay, now are you getting all of it?
Yes.
Okay. So there are 6 images. You can either pick your favorite or start eliminating ones that you would like me to remove.
Again, what are we choosing for here?
Best of show in the master division. So
Okay.
these are the best of each category,
Okay, gotcha.
which is the highest scoring image in each of the categories. And then you can pick your favorites. There were no ties. We didn't have any tiebreakers.
So for me, it's the top right.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's these are all great images in that,
Yeah.
but that one is very unique and I think very well done. That would be my choice as well.
I agree.
Unanimous.
Okay, so we will go through these one by one then here real quickly. So this first one is Gabion Ranch Rec Center, which was the category winner for Master Division Commercial category. Congratulations to Jim Doyle.
Congratulations.
Great.
This next one is Conversations, which is best of category in the illustrative category. Congratulations to Craig Stampley.
Oh.
This is Traffic, best of category in Master Division Landscape. Also best of show. Congratulations to Craig Stampley.
Well done.
Yeah, those cars are driving on the wrong side of the road.
Don't you hate when that happens? When it was called Traffic, I'm like, well, that's not traffic in Southern California. This is the best of category Master Division Nature, Black Crowned Night Heron. Congratulations to Annette Gregory.
Right.
And then best of category Master Division Photojournalism, Defying Gravity by Tim Mathieson. Congratulations, Tim.
Right.
And then we have best of category in our Master Division Portrait with Flotsam. Congratulations again to Craig Stampley. Okay. Now, give me just a second and we'll get the regular division. Yeah, where'd they go?
No images selected.
I know. There was 4 of them selected. They just didn't want to participate. I think it went to the wrong screen. Hold on, try this again. Why does it keep doing that? It doesn't like it. There we go. Work this time?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I think this is going to be an easy one.
Yeah, I'm going with upper right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Once again, I liked all of these images in that, but
Oh, absolutely.
that upper right one is that the way that was done is very nice. Both of the selections we made were the ones in the upper right, I guess.
Oh, it's all where we put them.
You want to rearrange them and see if we change our mind?
Okay, so this is the best of category regular division illustrative, simple beauty. Congratulations to Christine McElhanger.
Yay.
Nice.
Oh, that's the only one. It doesn't want me to go to the next one. Okay. Hold on, we've got to go out and come back in again. What it's doing. Okay, so this one is best of category in the landscape, regular division landscape. Also best of class, Lone Sentinel at Sunset. Congratulations to Kim Shapiro.
Ooh,
Oh,
Nice.
fantastic. Yeah.
gotta meet her
Bad Hair
someday.
Day Without Hair, best of class in nature, regular division. Congratulations to Kim Shapiro.
Well done.
And Hanging On, best of class in photojournalism. Congratulations to Kim Shapiro.
Well done.
Versatile,
very good.
versatile entries there.
So just one thing while everybody's still on, or those that are still on, this one that you guys picked as best of show for regular division. This is a resubmitted image. This is an image that did not merit the first time it was entered because there were spots in the sky. I took some off of the bottom based on judges' comments because it was pretty much a third, but it was really close to not being quite at a third. So a little bit of cropping and a little bit of reworking, and definitely brought it up from not a merit to a really good score. So for those people that their image didn't merit or it merited and got brought down, consider reworking it, because you can pay attention to some of the judges' comments, do some more work on your image, and change it from a not merited image to a very nice image. So take that opportunity to improve your image.
Good comments, because that's definitely how this works. Is a lot, those of us who have been doing this for a long time. It's little points like that. Please don't take it as nitpicking. Please don't take it as we're just looking for something to talk about, because sometimes all those little tiny things have just knocked a couple of points off here and there that will take you higher. So definitely pay attention.
Yeah, I'll weigh in on that one also. In that is that a couple of the other two judges tonight are people who I've learned quite a bit from, just in terms of critiques, and Jeff with the image critique show that he's got, the program and so forth, and that just the comments that I get, the feedback on those, and from Troy just through feedback that I've received from him on those two, as well as the other image competitions that I've entered into. tips, make an adjustment here, an adjustment there, and all of a sudden the scores go. I can't say they always go super high, but they go higher than they were before getting a critique
Right.
in that pretty much every time.